Have you ever wondered what truly makes or breaks the success of a short-term rental? Is it the design, the amenities, the location? Well, you might be surprised to know that there's a hidden hero in the world of hospitality that often goes unnoticed, but their impact is monumental. Today, we're going to dive into a topic that's rarely discussed, but is a game changer in the success of a short-term rental business. We're peeling back the curtains to reveal the unsung hero that can make or break your rental's appeal, guest satisfaction, and ultimately your profitability. Yes, you guessed it. We're talking about the magic of having a great cleaner. But it's not just about making beds and dusting shelves. There's a whole science and art that can significantly influence your property's success. So whether you're a short-term rental owner or cleaner, or just curious about how these rentals work behind the scenes, stay tuned because you don't want to miss what we have in store. The cleaner is the most important person in having a successful short-term rental business. So what do cleaners typically do in a short-term rental? The first thing they do is they go in and inspect the entire property really quickly just to see if there's any obvious damage or things that are missing perhaps. If they find something, they text me and let me know that there's an issue. This is important because I will then rate the guests and on their stay as they will rate me for their stay, and we'll be able to rate each other. Without that feedback, you can't really provide a good rating. As hosts, it's our duty to make sure that we warn other hosts if potentially a guest comes in and does a lot of damage. Luckily, I haven't had too much of an issue with that, but it's something to keep in mind. So on the inside of the property, the cleaner does a lot. They obviously clean the floors, the bathrooms, the counters, the appliances, really everything in the home. They empty the dishwasher, they empty the fridge of anything they might have left in there, and just make sure that there isn't anything the guests might have left behind. They remove the sheets, the towels, they throw them into the wash, they get them clean, and when they're dry, they put on fresh sheets on the beds and put fresh towels in the bathrooms. They also replenish supplies like soap, toilet paper, shampoo, conditioner, paper towels, garbage bags, all kinds of supplies that we go through and we provide to the guests so that they can use it too if they want to. And finally, the cleaner disposes of any trash that they've collected outside in the trash bin. Now, what does a cleaner do outside of the home? Well, this really depends on the particular property, the amenities, and all of that. But in my case, my cleaner checks for any random garbage, any cans, anything that's laying outside that they need to pick up. They wipe down chairs, they wipe down sofas, anything that might be outdoors that needs to make sure that we keep up to date. They check the grill and make sure that if the grill has been used, they clean it. But if not, they just check to make sure it's there and it's functioning. So if a home has a fire pit, we provide firewood for free to the guests. So the cleaner also checks to make sure the firewood level is good. They also look at the hot tub, make sure that its temperature is set at the right level and it's not running on high, for example. They wipe down the top of the cover to make sure it's free from dirt and dust. And we also have kayaks, so they just make sure the kayaks are tied down correctly. And we have life jackets for the kayaks. They inspect those briefly just to make sure they're all still there, they're all hanging correctly, and they don't obviously look damaged when looking at them. Now, all these things I just described are a lot more than what a typical house cleaner would do coming to a residential home to clean for a homeowner. A lot of these tasks are extra beyond what a cleaner would do. But they're so important because they're the ones that really identify potential issues that come up. A good cleaner are your eyes and ears on the property. They're the ones that see the property all the time. They know how things are supposed to look and they'll notify me of any issues. Plus, they do things like safety checks. They check the smoke detectors and carbon monoxide detectors and make sure they're working. They just check everything in the house to make sure that it's in good shape. Hey, real quick, are you liking this video? Please click the like button so YouTube knows that this is quality content and we'll share it with more immigrant professionals. Now, back to the video. So let's say you've got a property and you're going to be launching it soon and you want to find a cleaner. How do you do that? Well, in our case, our first cleaner we actually found in a pretty interesting way. So my wife, Sarah, is from Mexico. Spanish is her native language. And so what she did is she ended up going to the Mexican grocery store in town near our rental and started asking around, hey, who here does cleaning? And it was pretty funny. She was there asking around, and somebody that was eating there, because they had a little eating area next to the grocery store part of the building, heard her asking around and said, hey, wait a second, I know somebody, my coworker, his daughter cleans houses. And she said, oh, cool. Okay, what's your coworker's name? Well, his name is this, and where does he work? Well, he works at this restaurant about a mile down the road. So my wife got into her car, drove right to the restaurant, went looking for this gentleman who was a cook, and asked if you could speak to him, and said, hey, I heard that your daughter cleans homes. He's like, yeah, as a matter of fact, she does. This is her name. This is her number if you want to talk to her. And so that kicked off a good relationship where we ended up talking to that cleaner. She was very interested, not just in cleaning our property, but she wanted to grow her cleaning business. So we thought, perfect, this is a great way for us to be able to grow our short-term rentals with her in that area. And so we gave her a shot, and it's worked out very well. Now that story is kind of a unique approach, but my point here is that you can find a cleaner in almost any way possible. You can get references from realtors or from other investors. You can go to Facebook groups for short-term rental owners and ask about cleaners. Just note that people that have a great cleaner are probably not going to want to share their great cleaner on a Facebook post because they don't want them to be taken away from looking at their own property. So you might not get a whole lot of response with that. But there are perhaps local cleaning companies that you could reach out to. A cleaning company is in a way nice because if somebody can't make it or is sick or something, they have somebody else that can step in right away. But on the other hand, if you have a bunch of different cleaners coming into their house, there might not be a lot of continuity in terms of them knowing the property well. So there's definitely some pluses and minuses there. And there are also services like Turno, which are like an online service where you can go and look for a cleaner there. I've never used it personally, but I've heard good things about that. So there's just a lot of ways to find a cleaner that you can look into. And I'm sure after doing some digging, you'll find a number of people that may be interested. But if you're talking to a cleaner that has never done cleaning for a short-term rental, like the one we found, that we had to be very open and honest with them to say, look, this is much further beyond what you're used to doing in terms of cleaning a home for a residence. This is really a business, and there's a lot of things that we need your help with to accomplish. And she was up for the task, and she was willing to do it. Not sure if every cleaner would be up for it. So just keep your eyes and ears open and see and feel their energy if they're really excited about that opportunity or if they're not really that excited. That's something to think about. Another thing for us too that was really important was making sure the cleaner knew that we had specific windows that the cleaning had to be done. So we would have guests that would check out, say at 10 a.m. one day. We might have a guest coming in at 4 p.m. that same day. So they have basically 6 hours to do everything that I just talked about, which is pretty tight from what we've seen, but it can be done. Now, one thing we did to make it easier for our cleaner is we gave them access to our calendar on our property management system. So they were able to see the upcoming bookings that were coming up and when the cleanings were, so they could plan out their schedule and their lives as much as possible to work around it. We thought it was really important to give our cleaner as much advance notice as cleanings are coming so that they can prepare and make sure that they're there and able to do a good job. And probably the most important thing of this whole video that I want to highlight is that these are the most important people that are going to make your short-term rental succeed or fail. You need to treat them as the important people that they are. For example, we pay our cleaner above market rates. And I do that for two reasons. One is because I believe they're doing a lot of work above and beyond what a cleaner would do anyway. So I'm happy to give them extra. I believe they've earned it. And two, I almost look at it like a little bit of profit sharing. Like if I'm making a profit on my property, I'd love to share a little bit with the cleaner and give them some reward for being able to take care of the property like they do. And they appreciate it. I also pay them very quickly. And if there's a lot of cleanings that need to happen, maybe you pay once a week or once a month. You just have to make sure you keep good track of what's been done. I'll close out with this story. In our case, with our first cleaner, we've become kind of like family. So much so that when their daughter got married, they invited us to their wedding, and my wife and I went, and it was a lot of fun. We really enjoyed it. But we were just happy that we could play a part in that family growing and being successful. And for us, it gave us a lot of satisfaction. So now you know all about cleaners and why they're so important. But there are also other factors that make a successful short-term rental. If you want to find out what those are, just click this video right here. Thank you for watching the Immigrant Wealth channel.